This offense, what do you do? I mean, and if people, here's I think a fair criticism of Kevin Stefanski. He's an offensive coach. It's now 10 straight games where they haven't scored 17 points. What do you do? How do you correct that?
Yeah, I mean, some of this comes down to the fact they are playing a lot of young players, and it's weird. It was such a weird dynamic that you had all these rookies and young players at skill positions, and then you had a 40-year-old quarterback and largely an aging offensive line. So now they've got a rookie quarterback going along with everything else. Some of this comes down to Dylan Gabriel, and I think he can make a real difference. How fast it's going to be remains to be seen. But Joe Flacco wasn't throwing balls in part because he didn't trust guys. And look, I can't blame him, but there were times where receivers were understandably frustrated because they were open and the ball wasn't coming to them. Dylan Gabriel is going to throw it. And I think this is actually going to encourage guys to trust if they get to the right spot, they're where they're supposed to be. And if they play through it, he's going to give them opportunities. And I think that's going to encourage them to be better in that. And hopefully it's going to make a difference. And like you look at a guy like Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy has been really bad in terms of off target, or I should say off schedule throws. Like when he knows the ball's coming, he seems to be really effective, particularly when they're in the script and those type of things. I think the more Dylan Gabriel forces these guys to play on schedule, the better they will be. The other part with Dylan Gabriel is despite the fact he's a rookie, he's not afraid to hold guys accountable and get in their face and some of these things like that. So I'm hoping, obviously, sooner the better, that this needs to change quickly. The other part, small element, because it's not an excuse ultimately. They need to score more points. Schedule's been tough for them. You're hoping that they can break through and get there. But look, there's no getting around the fact that stat line is horrific.
What do you do? The caller said they need to run the ball. There's 9 guys in the box. How do you work around that? Do you go extra offensive lineman and then bludgeon, or how do you get a guy out of the box?
Right. So part of this is they did try to bludgeon them, which worked at points. And that was the thing. Like that last drive where they only ran 11 seconds. Like it's hard for me to blame them for running first down because they had just been able to sort of make it work. But what I'd like to see them do, and some of this comes to the fact that it's trust and getting comfort there. I'd like them to get to a point between the offensive line and everything else where they allow Dylan Gabriel to sort of have a check, get to something else where if you see a crowded box, they can get into something else where there is a throw or something else that now allows them to attack the perimeter or get a quick pass that maybe has a one-on-one matchup that works for you. But ultimately, the best way to get guys out of the box is to find a way to test defenses down the field more, open things up and stretch them out. And in order to do that, they have to be able to protect long enough to get those throws down the field. So that's going to be a big component for this. Hopefully the Cam Robinson thing gets in there and they can do more of that. Dylan Gabriel certainly has enough arm. There's always going to be a question whether he can see the field that people are going to worry about. But I think it just comes down to giving him enough opportunities, putting guys in the right spots, and proving to defenses that they have to take them seriously. And you have Jerry Jeudy, who's proven to be an explosive weapon, and Isaiah Bond is certainly fast enough to do those things. It's just a matter of now getting to the point and doing it.
You mentioned the check. How much of that is where you give them the ability to check? Do you think the hesitancy to do that is potentially because of the line? You don't want them trying to check if the line's going to be the way it's been the first 5 games, 6 games.
Yeah, it's a huge component. And again, if you don't feel like you can roll left because you have a guy who can't block out there, you're probably not going to do it, or you're going to not give him the option to do it. So yeah, I mean, getting that set up to be more sustainable, be more reliable is going to be a huge component of this. The other part that's going to do is everybody wants to see Dylan Sampson more, or in players like him, and we want to see Harold Fannin get utilized more as a sort of slot weapon as opposed to out of the backfield. The better they are in pass protection, the more they can do that. We saw them sort of utilize Dylan Sampson in the early script. And then as the game sort of wore on, they got away from it. Again, pass protection became an issue, so you had to go more with Jerome Ford. And to his credit, I thought he played reasonably well. But Dylan Sampson's a weapon. They want to get him to utilize him. They want to be able to use Harold Fannin in the passing game. In order to do that, you have to be able to block. And I think that's what we're waiting to sort of get sorted out.